Hey there guys, welcome to my blind playthrough of the Shadows of Rose DLC for Resident Evil Village. A DLC that didn't get much of a showcase during the Resident Evil showcase. And if that says anything about the state of this DLC, then I should expect my reaction to this DLC to be very negative. And I've already talked so much about the main points of contention with the introduction of this DLC mode with the Shadows of Rose DLC, but here are my expectations with this DLC. This DLC is going to be like 30 minutes long if you're just going through it normally. I mean, I've seen the time lengths of certain videos of the Shadows of Rose DLC, and they're up to like 2 hours or something, sometimes 4 hours. But I just imagine that's because the players are including the cutscenes and they're probably just playing really shit. That's all. And I mean, like, that's not even like the main point of contention I have. I mean, setting a piece of content 16 years after Resident Evil Village and you're reserving it for a DLC pack. And furthermore, this DLC focuses on Rose removing her abilities. That completely undermines the whole setup of having Rose being given her abilities in Resident Evil Village. Why would you set up Rose's abilities if you're then going to do away with them entirely in the DLC? It felt like they were setting it up for the next game, but now they're just doing away with it. And it feels like they're trying to rush the Winter Seas' story arc into a fiery death, pretty much, it feels like. And that is just a dumb way to conclude the Winter Seas' family arc. Just so they can move on to other characters, this and that. And it's really retarded like that. But maybe I'll think differently about this DLC. I doubt it. But let's get into this, shall we? Play Shadows of Rose from the beginning. New game. Hardcore. So I remember them saying that the Shadows of Rose DLC would be harder than the main experience. So does that mean that there's going to be an additional difficulty mode with this? I mean, the DLCs for Resident Evil 7, you had to unlock professional difficulty and Joe Must Die difficulty by playing through them once. So it might be something like this. So maybe this experience I'm getting right now is not the true experience, so that is going to be problematic. Okay, so we're in some city, it looks like, and we see this guy.
Hey, Kay. Sorry I'm
Kay.
late.
It's okay. I'm just enjoying the day.
You said you had something important to tell me? I hope it's not about Chris wanting me to join his operation, because I
Really?
told him that's not happening.
Okay, so Chris is still operating right now, even though this is 16 years after Resident Evil Village. How the hell is the guy still going on? I mean, how old is Chris Redfield during the events of Resident Evil Village? Like the guy's got to be in his like 60s at this point for crying out loud. Maybe he's in his 50s. That just seems interesting to note. But and then like remember in the epilogue for Resident Evil Village, Chris said he was plotting a course for BSAA Europe HQ because of the fact that they were using bioweapons or BOWs. But setting this DLC 16 years after that, it's undermining the whole setup with the BSAA being evil. And the fact that she's even mentioning Chris in this cutscene, it's logical that I should be talking about this problem here when you're talking about the epilogue of Resident Evil Village.
I see what he puts you and the rest of his Hound Wolf squad through. No, thank you.
Oh, so Kay is a member of the Hound Wolf Squad.
It's not about that. It is about you.
Me?
I,
Why does Rose's head look so small? I don't know why. It just really feels like at this camera angle, her head feels very small relative to her body. Almost like they didn't use photorealistic technology to make Rose's body.
I worry about you. How is how are things at school?
Seriously? That's what you wanted to talk to me about?
That group of mean girls still hassling you?
Of
One of them
course.
still treating me like a freak?
Hey. Look at me. You are not a freak.
I am. You know I am. That's why I keep my distance from everybody at school. If they knew what I really was.
So you don't have any friends that you can talk to?
Talk to? About what? How I'm hardly even human? How I'm some kind of horrendous monster?
BOW, not monster.
Hey, it's okay. I hardly ever murder my friends.
If there were a way to
I mean, Chris did shoot that fake version of Mia in the face. Okay.
get rid of your powers.
I get rid of them in a heartbeat.
All right, well, I think there's something I need to show you. You already know about Miranda and the Mutamycete, how she
Why are they talking about Mutamycete? They're supposed to be talking about the Megamycete. That's odd.
researched it obsessively and performed experiments on human subject.
Like me.
Exactly. What you don't know is that we recently found some of her research. Apparently, she discovered a purifying crystal that can remove the Mutamycete from...
What? A purifying crystal? Well, that sounds like such a fantastical term that belongs in some kind of fantasy game. A purifying crystal? What the hell is this? This is not crystal therapy. What the hell? That's such a dumb name and a dumb concept. And it can remove the Mutamycete.
from its host.
Purifying crystal?
If we can get our hands on one of these, we might be able to weaken or remove your powers entirely.
Just like that. Wow. So much for research and development, so much for the logics of science. It's such a MacGuffin. This is such a MacGuffin. That's so stupid.
You kidding me?
At least with the cure from the Endozoid DLC, that wasn't a MacGuffin because it's a cure. It took like weeks for them to research the Mutamycete, and at least they had like some notes from the connections to generate that cure that actually served as a permanent cure compared to the serum, and the serum that Ethan used on Mia wasn't a cure. In fact, it didn't even work because it was built from the D-type Mutamycete, not the E-type Mutamycete. It was built from D-type test subjects, so how could it possibly affect Evelyn? I mean, in the first cutscene we see for Resident Evil Village, where Ethan's recollecting the events to some person in the BSAA, he says the serum did its job like that, but I don't think that's true. But the cure in the Endozoid DLC didn't feel like a MacGuffin, but here, this purifying crystal? What the hell? How did the connections not find this? And why are they giving it such a fantastical, like, name with that kind of nomenclature?
No, but her notes are incomplete. However, I think I have an idea where we can find the rest of her research.
Let's do it. Let's find it. Where is it?
In there.
How the hell is the Mutamycete even still around? And like Rose is not even like questioning why they still have this? How can they still have samples of the Mutamycete 16 years after the events of Resident Evil Village?
What?
That's a fragment of the Megamycete. It absorbs and stores memories from people who pass away in close proximity.
Who passes away in close proximity? What do you mean? Why are you phrasing it like that? What do you mean close proximity? Why don't you just say it absorbs the memories of individuals it comes into contact with? Why are you saying close proximity as if you don't have to actually touch the Megamycete, you just have to be near it? It's weird.
Including Miranda and everything she knows.
I mean, and that kind of makes sense right there, because we know at the end of Resident Evil Village, Miranda merges with the Megamycete even after Ethan dealt the killing blow to her. Like when he shot her a bunch, and it was only when he used that explosive, that M2 explosive, to destroy the Megamycete, although apparently it's back somehow. They gave no explanation for this. So this completely undermines and just disgraces the memory of Ethan Winters and his sacrifice. Just like what happened with Darth Vader when they brought back Palpatine in Episode 9, so Darth Vader's sacrifice is rendered completely pointless. And that's exactly what they did here for Ethan Winters.
If you enter its consciousness, you might be able to solve the mystery of the purifying crystal.
Wait, what do you mean enter its consciousness?
Okay, so your deep connection will allow you to explore the information within.
That's another thing as well. Your deep connection. Like, the thing I don't understand, and I do point this out in my review, it feels like throughout the events of Resident Evil Village, Rose and the Megamycete are treated with almost equal priority, as if they're equally as important. But if that's the case, why didn't the BSAA, alongside taking a sample of the Megamycete, why didn't they abduct Rose if she's so important? And like, if Chris knew that Miranda was after Rose, then surely the BSAA, that like the evil BSAA, would know about Rose as well. So why didn't they just abduct her as well? That's very confusing.
That sounds crazy. You sound crazy.
Yes, Rose, but not dangerous. Right? Think of it just like walking through somebody else's memories.
You really think this can work?
Walking through someone else's memories. They straight up quoted that from the Evil Within comic. Like, they stole that from the Evil Within comic. So I remember Sebastian describing the exact same thing in the comic, the Evil Within the interlude. And this whole idea of the realm of consciousness just borrows heavily from the Evil Within. Only the Evil Within at least has a scientific basis for it, using technology. This, it feels like a MacGuffin for no reason.
I think it's worth trying. What do you have to lose?
How do I even do this?
Shit, I don't know. Try reaching out to it. See what happens.
It is a hive mind. So I guess it kind of makes sense like that.
Fine. What the hell?
Seriously, Rose, you're not going to raise the question of why they have a sample of the Megamycete, how this Megamycete sample can still be around even after Ethan Winters supposedly destroyed it? I mean, come on. Like, she's not even talking about Ethan. Why is she not talking about Ethan at any point in this cutscene if she has so much respect for him, as was indicated in the epilogue for Resident Evil Village, where she actually visits his grave? And they use the same water effect as well, which is another thing the Evil Within 2 does.
So weird. Yeah. It's like she sees things that aren't there. Creepy.
Stay away from us, you freak.
Imagine wanting to be friends
She's
with her.
definitely
Ew,
not normal.
something just moved on her hand. What is wrong with her?
Shut up!
It's like stay away from us, you
Freak.
Ew, something just moved on her hand.
Wait, was that Miranda? I'm sorry, not Miranda, that was Heisenberg. He said, do you have any idea how powerful that kid is? Didn't he actually say something? I don't remember Heisenberg saying that, actually. I don't think he ever said that. Maybe he did during one of the cutscenes, but how is she hearing it? If we're primarily hearing her memories. Because that literally sounded like Heisenberg just then. And like the speech pattern, that sounded like Heisenberg. The Duke! And we're hearing the Duke as well? That's weird.
Just disgusting. Please just shut up!
I'm still here? Kay. Kay? Where are you? Kay! This isn't right.
Find the purifying crystal. So we get to explore a bit of this lab. Is there anything we can examine? Miranda's research claims that the Megamycete preserves the memories of people who passed away within its area of influence, absorbing them into its own vast consciousness. We also know, based on our previous encounters with the mole, that people who are contaminated with the Megamycete are connected in a kind of mold network. And this was indicated in Resident Evil 7. I mean, Ethan was infected with the Megamycete in Resident Evil 7. That's how he's able to communicate with Jack in that hive mind when Mia is trying to rescue him in the ship. And, you know, like, that's another thing as well. Like, the Megamycete can make its own realm of consciousness, but so can the Mutamycete. But, like, is the only difference between the Megamycete and the Mutamycete the fact that the Megamycete can absorb genetic data, but the Mutamycete can't? But that's odd, though, because with Marguerite's mutation, it's clear that she's a chimera of human DNA and insect DNA alongside the Mutamycete. So it seems like the Mutamycete is capable of genetic splicing, with actually combining genetic aspects from different organisms and combining them together. But now they're saying that only the Megamycete is capable of that, which I don't understand that at all. If we extrapolate from this, we can surmise that subjects with a strong affinity to the Mutamycete should be able to use the network to connect to the memories of the dead within the Megamycete. Now they're talking about affinity here. Like, last time we heard about affinity was with the Kadu. And I remember discussing this with the Resident Evil podcast team, but, like, Miranda's research on the Kadu was completely pointless because in the end, she took Rose, and Rose wasn't even infected with the Kadu. She was split into 4 pieces and then infected. I'm guessing. I don't know if Rose was originally, like, born with the Mutamycete genome, or Miranda actually infected her before splitting her into 4 different parts. But going back to the main point, Miranda's research on the Kadu is rendered completely pointless because she just finds Rose and is able to use her as a vessel for Ava, but that fails in the end somehow. So, like, what's the whole point of the Kadu then? Like, the Kadu, all it's there for is just to give a more strict definition if you're thinking about it from an epidemiological perspective. You know, like, you have strict definitions and loose definitions. Like, strict definition means you're adding more constraints to your parameters, like, or to your definition of what is, like, satisfactory for a test result. And I'm guessing in the case that it could do, not only did Miranda think that a subject with a high affinity for the Mutamycete was enough, but also if they had an affinity for the Kadu, like, if they had an affinity for the Mutamycete / Megamycete or whatever, and the Kadu, then they were more suitable as a host. But it doesn't matter in the end because Rose was never infected with the Kadu. So all of Miranda's research was for nothing. And she just happened upon Rose because some mole within the BSAA who was working for the Connections told Miranda about this. I mean, that's what the Resident Evil podcast team was questioning as well. And the Resident Evil podcast team was equally like, confused as well. Like, they themselves viewed the Kadu as being extraneous, and it didn't serve that much of a purpose, in all honesty. It should be possible to verify this theory using the lab's Megamycete sample we collected 16 years ago. We just need a suitable subject with a proven connection to the mold. I mean, how were they... You know, like, how exactly did the Megamycete stick around that long if it was feeding off of organisms? I mean, what... And furthermore, like, how did they even get a sample of the Megamycete, even though Ethan Winters destroyed it? And it seems like the Megamycete is still able to operate without being attached to any form of, like, veins or whatever. Like, similar to... Like, what I'm basically saying is, like, it doesn't seem to be necessary for the Megamycete to absorb nutrients or the like to even propagate itself. It's not clear at all. Unfortunately, this presents a problem. Our organization's policies prevent us from directly contacting civilians who are infected with Mutamycete. Certainly, the ethical reasoning is understandable, but it has rendered the confirmation of this theory impossible. It pains me to think of how much mankind could stand to benefit from this preservation and indexing of human consciousness. I mean, I think that's an interesting idea to bring across, because, I mean, you know, we've seen some of the potential benefits to viruses and the parasites. I mean, not really so much with the parasites, but you know, like the Mutamycete itself, you know, it does have some ramifications for good, but it's used for bioorganic weaponry pretty much. And, you know, I imagine that's why No, but like the BSAA's intent with even getting the Mutamycete slash Megamycete was to weaponize it. That was the whole point. I mean, why else would they deploy bioorganic weapons? And it literally says in the concept art for Resident Evil Village that the BSAA is now a rotten, corrupt organization. But I'm guessing maybe it's been fixed. Like, if that's the case, why do you bother setting up the BSAA being evil then? It's confusing. Like, you're gonna set up the BSAA being evil during the events of Resident Evil Village, but then it's all immediately gone with this DLC 16 years later. It feels like Resident Evil Village is a circus of ideas that are just thrown out the window almost immediately. The possibilities of preserving or even reclaiming great minds, perhaps there's some way of cutting through the red tape. Yeah, but that's all dependent upon the individuals who are actually coming into contact with the Megamycete, and the Megamycete is based in Europe. So you're talking about reclaiming great minds who just happen to be in the village area at the time. So what the fuck is he talking about? That doesn't make any fucking sense what he's saying. Even reclaiming great minds. Oh my god. And why are they saying organization? Why are you not saying BSAA, unless this is not the BSAA? I mean, but why else would she be talking about Chris with Kay? Because Chris still has to be working for the BSAA. I mean, what about the other characters? What about Jill? What about Sheva? What about Parker? What about the other BSAA operatives that we know of? What about all the other Resident Evil characters? What's happening with them? And doesn't Rebecca work for the BSAA? I don't remember that. I don't remember if Rebecca... I mean, she works as a university professor, but is she actually working for the BSAA? I think she actually is, if I remember Resident Evil Vendetta correctly. Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of that file. I mean, there were definitely some points of contention to bring up right there.
Wait. What?
Explore your surroundings. Now, this is using assets from Castle Dimitrescu right here. Wow. If this is nothing but Castle Dimitrescu assets, that's gonna be shit. Which way? I'm guessing it's that way. Ah, but there's that way to go as well. So which way should I go? Oh? I'll be next so I'm not quick. I need to get that... What? Okay, this document doesn't make any sense. It's acting like the consciousness of individuals who have died are still living on in the Megamycete, but that's not what it was indicated as. I mean, unless, like... And furthermore, like... No, wait. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe the consciousness are still, continuing from where they left off. Maybe they don't know they're dead or something. I don't know. But, like, this document is phrased very weirdly. But theoretically, like, Rose shouldn't even be experiencing the same kind of environments as other individuals. I mean, if you remember from The Evil Within, I mean, Kidman's experiences within STEM were entirely different to Sebastian, and the way they perceived certain events was different. Like, remember that one cutscene in Chapter 13 of The Evil Within, where Leslie and Kidman are in that playground, and, you know, Sebastian is actually pointing his gun at Kidman, telling her to stop. But then from Kidman's point of view, she doesn't see Sebastian. She sees the administrator. So that's a great example of them perceiving things differently. And furthermore, like, the kind of environments that Kidman is in, like, she's in a completely different environment to Sebastian. Like, they're living out parallel scenarios pretty much that sort of convey the same kind of consequence, basically. It's hard to explain the whole idea of parallel scenarios, but it seems like Rose has intersected with someone else's consciousness, and I'm guessing this person's consciousness is generating these images of Castle Dimitrescu, and they're leaving these notes for themselves. So how is that possible? And it's also funny how Rose is wearing Ethan's jacket, right? She's wearing Ethan's jacket from Resident Evil Village. Yet not once did she even talk about Ethan Winters during that cutscene with Kay. I can feel a draft. A shoe? That looks like Ethan's shoe from Resident Evil 7. Well, look at that. I wonder why the Mutamycete is portrayed as such, like the same way between the real world and the realm of consciousness. And Rose is moving pretty slow. You can't sprint during this moment.
So gross. What is this?
What do you mean, what is this? If you're well aware of your powers, you should know what the Mutamycete is. What are you talking about? That doesn't make sense. That makes no sense, that question of hers.
Let me out.
Evelyn?
Is someone there?
Dangerous here.
What is? Why? Hang tight. I'm gonna see if I can find a key.
I mean, that has to be Evelyn. I'm positive that's Evelyn, because Miranda literally says, like, Rose is Evelyn, whatever the fuck that means, during Resident Evil Village after Heisenberg's boss fight. Rose? Huh. Where are these glyphs here? She did not like that ominous noise being generated by that.
That's my name.
To create art, simply add to the rabbits' carcasses. Decay is not an issue. Spruce them up with a bit of makeup. It makes them seem more alive. Oh, the journal, I forgot about this. Kay told me about a purifying crystal that will let me finally get rid of these gross powers. She's saying powers, and she's calling them gross powers, and we don't even see her demonstrate her abilities in the real world. Oh my god. We don't see the BSAA maybe teaching her how to control her power, or not the BSAA, Chris. We don't see Chris teaching Rose how to control her abilities or anything. We don't see how her abilities manifest in the real world. We're only going to see them manifest in the realm of consciousness, which is not how the abilities look in real life, in her real world. Oh my god. There's so much wrong with the storytelling so far. He said I should be able to find something about it in this Megamycete thing's consciousness. I guess I need to find Miranda's memories. I really don't get how any of this works, but at least it's not dangerous. I have to try. I really don't get how any of this works. And that parallels and mirrors the same mentality of the developers who don't understand how the fucking Mutamycete / Megamycete / mold works. Oh my god. Jesus Christ almighty. Already I'm very negative towards this DLC. Oh my god, and the amount of people that are going to hype this up. Damn.
Okay.
Are you really going to step in that? You're not gonna move your foot away? If you think that's gross, why are you putting your foot in it? Oh my god.
What the hell is this stuff?
don't understand why she's asking that question.
Gross. Huh. What was that?
Alright, we can finally unlock the cell, and let's see what it is. Oh, she's not even gonna do the animation of opening the door. It's just gonna open by itself.
What's this?
Oh my god. Oh, that didn't take much effort.
Thanks. Thank you. That wasn't.
That has to be that has to be Evelyn. It has to be.
Me.
Oh, please let that be Evelyn.
Who are you? I'm Rose.
Okay.
What's going
Or is that Ava? Maybe that's Ava. I don't know.
Must keep moving. But too dangerous here.
Wait up!
And she's gone, of course. Or not. Okay, I had a feeling that that hole there had some significance.
Help me lift.
Oh, this is a cutscene you can skip.
Hey, wait, where are you going?
Oh my, this looks reused from that entire dungeon area before Bella's boss fight. What? Okay, what's this nonsense?
There are more, and they all look just like me. Do you know what's happening here?
What the fuck is
Hey,
this?
are you listening to me?
Alright, I'm not gonna do anything yet. Find the switch handle.
To open the gate.
If you think this is gonna generate any sort of uneasiness in me, it's not. Alright, so this looks like a way back. I remember in the trailer for this, there was a big guy with some kind of mace. Locked from the other side. Huh, more of these Rose clones.
So many bodies.
Some of them are disfigured too. Imagine what this would be like in the first-person perspective. Oh, I'd actually be able to appreciate all these details, but I can't even see at this range. All the whiny babies begged for the third-person mode, and new Capcom just caved to their demands like a bunch of cowards. Wow.
Really? Oh god.
I'm not feeling anything from this. Oh my god, this feels so silly.
What?
Oh, there's the death. I don't understand what's happening. And now she just unlocks her abilities when under emotional duress. Oh, they're mutating. Yeah. Oh, Rose can't block. Well, that's annoying. Why can't she block? All right, let's move.
No way!
What are they just ripping off Dead Space 2 at the beginning? Only nowhere near as high octane. They were using assets from this room here. Wow.
Dead end!
Oh my god. This is so bad, like so far. I mean, like the introduction to the Not a Hero DLC and the end of Zoe DLC has more weight to it compared to this. And this is borrowing from Resident Evil 6's Carla Redeems boss fight. With the with everything coming out of the walls like that. Okay. If I was meant to be intimidated by that, I wasn't. I was just in a state of silliness right there. That was too silly to even put into words. Oh, nice. We're gonna reuse this room right here. This is literally like the first room Ethan is in when he first enters Castle Dimitrescu, and he's abducted by the daughters.
What are you?
Okay.
Okay.
Michael.
What were those things? What is happening here?
Of course it's just gonna be that vague.
What is this? Where am I? Not until I get this out of my body. There's a crystal here that will remove the mold.
Now they're saying mold! First they were saying mutamycete, now they're saying mold. Can you stick to one fucking word, new Capcom?
I need to find it. And I'm not leaving until I do.
This is a travesty right now.
My guardian angel? Do you have a name? If you're an angel, then... Gabriel? Michael?
Oh, what? Is that what you're going for? So, Michael is based off an angel's name or something?
Okay. Michael? What now?
There's a typewriter here. Anything I can pick up around here? Anything to observe, if they're even trying to tell a story at this point? Like, can you imagine exploring the memories of the Lords? How interesting would that be? as a diversion in this DLC. Like we'd actually explore Alcina's memories, Beneviento's memories, Moreau's memories, Heisenberg's memories. Like just along the way to Rose's goal to remove her abilities. It is a grand honor that you would bestow upon me such an important task. I can report the liquid void you provided has some splendid properties. Its most obvious use is for my dogs on their hunt, aiding them as they pursue our quarry. It also does wonders for slowing down and corralling the rabbits. Some have even been foolish enough to stumble into it and been completely engulfed. With this, I am certain I will be able to fulfill your expectations and get you the results you so desire. So I'm guessing that liquid void is all the stuff that that was permeating throughout the halls of that dungeon, and then the dogs are those white Moriekas. They're literally reusing the Morieka assets with that enemy, and they're stripping down the gameplay there. If they're going to be removing blocking, then all they've done to create the illusion of a new enemy type is to reuse the same enemy type's assets, but just to make your capabilities less. That is so lazy on so many levels. It also does wonders for slowing down and corralling the rabbits, which I'm guessing are those clones of Rose. Why would that be in a consciousness? What's up with that? Why would there be clones of Rose in this consciousness? And how can you perform experiments within a conscious? Like, how does a consciousness have the ability to even perform experiments on other consciousness? That is bizarre in so many ways. Oh, you know what? A thought just occurred to me. What if, because I believe it's the Duke who made this document here, but what if he's actually serving Miranda within this consciousness? I mean, Miranda went through a lot of individuals to try to find the perfect vessel for Rose, so maybe these rabbits, as the Duke puts them, they're supposed to be a representation of the failed experiments to try to create a vessel for Rose. Maybe it's like that, and the way the realm of consciousness portrays this whole idea is to have clones of Rose. But even still, though, it just sounds ridiculous.